Good evening, everybody. It is November 19th, later now than it's ever been before. All right, as we saw today, we opened up strong today. Notice what's happened in this downtrend. We had an opportunity to move sideways and then up, or as we saw, we were a good distance away from the T-line, doji, hammer, and then today they took it back up. Now what we need to see is to make sure that they stay above the T-line to make sure this reversal is in place. The same scenario for the other indexes. The S&P gapped up, as it's shown on this chart, after a doji hammer type signal. Can't see the charts. Can everybody else see the charts? All right. Okay. Best charts ever. All right, and the NASDAQ. Also that gap up from a hammer type signal. So that made things turn around pretty strong today, which at some point they were going to turn it, and I guess today was the day. Now, gold was up today. Notice how it was came back up, gap up. So this might be still in this J-hook pattern to the upside. Silver, same scenario, except it closed right here at the 50, which makes this pretty easy to ascertain which direction it's going to go. If they open up positive, you're breaking out through the 50 after a best friend situation, doji gap up. And do you see the SPX as the only index above its 200? No, it doesn't make any difference to me. I don't even know how we get the SPX over here, do we? I don't know what the symbol is for this. But, yeah, let's see. Okay. That doesn't really make any difference. They're all coming back up. So I would suspect that if you have a few more days to the upside, at least the Dow is going to come up and test the 200, which will give the S&P and the NASDAQ time to climb away from the T-line, the NASDAQ up toward the 200 also. Let's see, anything else to be bought out there? The dollar right now is just turned. Now, we've made our charts smaller. That's just great. Notice that the dollar came right up smack dab to close on the 200 and then backing off. Where do you suspect it might back off to? Might be heading right back down to the 50. All indexes still in a downtrend. Yeah, but they've got, if that were the case, they'd always be in a downtrend. At some point, they've got to turn. That's why, that's the whole point of being able to identify candlestick signals. We've got Morningstar signals down here. Stochastics in the oversold starting to come up, and they closed on a good bullish day above the T-line. So I would suspect they're going to come back up and at least test these downward trend channels, which would be kind of coincided with coming up to test the 200. Let's see, crude oil coming back up out of this little fry pan bottom. Doji gap up. There's your best friend. See if it can get through the 50. And let's see, did we do sugar? Sugar also. Doji gap up. So these gap ups are good, strong charts. It tells you that somebody's trying to get back into them with great enthusiasm. Soybeans has been in a downtrend, obviously, but did a bullish Harami today in the oversold area, opening a little bit positive today or after hours. So it might at least pop back up here to the T-line. We have to see what it does from there. The other grains, corn, it also came up almost a little cradle type pattern in here. Make this bigger. So I'd see whether it can break through the 50 to start a new uptrend. I've been long hogs. I went long hogs today. Started on Friday, picked up some long hogs, and then took it up today. Now they're trading a little bit down after hours. But as you can see, we've got a good J-hook pattern that bounced right off the T-line, breaking out into new territory. At least should come up and test this level. And if this is wave one, we should be moving much higher than that. Feeder cattle also was trying. Why do these charts go back to these smaller ones? Come on. Just climbed up above the T-line today. So we're seeing whether this can continue its uptrend. And live cattle gapped up during the day. Now they opened higher and pulling back a little bit. But usually the after hours don't have a lot of volume. So I suspect we're still in uptrend with an attempt to go to the 200. Okay. Did corn. Did we do wheat? Wheat in this channel, and it had a little positive day. I've done something to these charts. What can make them stay? So it's trading up a little bit after hours, so it might be back into this trend channel again. Well, wave one, and the pattern that I'm looking at right now, which is a J-hook pattern, if this is wave one, wave two, then wave three of our J-hook should be equivalent to this wave right here. So it's moving higher. Also, on a bigger picture, if this is wave one, this is wave two, then this is wave three still in progress. Let's see, orange juice coming up. Looks like it came up through the 50. Notice how it came right smack dab to the 50 today and used it as support. Came right back up again. Tells me there's probably some more upside, a little bit of profit taking today. And then, let's see, that's not it. This is soy meal. Well, shushbutts. I don't even know. I don't ever trade soybean oil. There it is. And it looks like they gapped it up today. Now, I'm pretty sure soybean oil is moving stronger because crude oil is moving stronger. Crude oil is moving stronger because of the Middle East stuff picking up. 10-year note is right up here, still at its high. The U.S. bonds came down a little bit, so that means yields went up a little bit today. it needs to stay above the T line. If it comes down below the T line, it's like they'll be pulling it back a little bit. And copper, nice move today. Breaking doji gap up. Our best friend, look for one of these targets. All right, with the market, kinda making a good strong reversal. We don't know whether this is just going to be a bounce up to the trend line and pull back, but it doesn't matter. We know at least we've probably got 2 or 3 days to the upside before it runs into resistance. Natural gas coming up, but not real strong. It looks like you might be starting to set up for a pattern, a sideways pattern. Not any good strength in it. Let's see, is that okay? Yeah, that's the S.NP. All right. Okay, so we recommended Dollar Tree the other day because of the doji gap up. Remember, I think Pat's going to do something with. I've just put out a CD showing the I don't know, the CD or a PowerPoint showing the what I consider probably about the dozen strongest patterns. The strongest one that I think is of relevance is the best friend, the doji gap up. It can be a gap up from any candlestick signal, but the doji is more, gives a more powerful indication because there's indecision right before that move. So notice what Dollar Tree did the other day. What you have to do is not worry about a day like this as long as it doesn't close below the T line, because this was your signal. This was told you the buyers had stepped in, profit taking, opened positive and went positive. That same scenario was in PLK today. SPLK. We had an inverted hammer, gap up, strong move, pulled back, didn't close below the T line. This one can still be bought on positive trading tomorrow. No. Yep, that's a good one. AGQ, which is silver. Yeah, same scenario. Had a gap up today. On the other side, when you have a market is turning, we'd shorted Ever a while back because it had all the signs of pulling back to where? Right smack dab to the 50-day moving average. So what would be the best strategy today? Today would have been a very good day to take your profits. Why is that? Because we're in the oversold area, and our markets are basically telling us they're starting to head that back up or have a good probability of heading back up. So in something where, where you're starting to calculate the probabilities. Again, this is kind of the anticipation. A lot of people say, well, shoot, I put on a trade and then by the time I get out of it, I've given back most of my profits. Here's a case where, what's the logic of this trade right now? We can see that it's showing indecisive trading right here on the 50-day moving average, and we're in the oversold area. The market's moving up. Today, when it closed as a doji, you take your profits. What does that do for you? Well, if it starts moving up, you could probably be a buyer. On the other hand, if they gap it down after the doji, showing us that they're not going to be supporting here at the 50-day moving average, you can always re-short it. But right now, the probabilities have gotten to be pretty well, not even 50-50. I would suspect more that they're about ready to take this back up again because it's got all the indications. Oversold, doji's right on a support level, the market moving up. it's time to take profits. It's kind of do a little bit of anticipation. Let's see. We had MYGN, and this one came down and pulled right back up again. Did a doji. It's telling us that they're still buying this. This one still can be bought on a positive open tomorrow, because if it opens positive, what do we got? We got a doji that tells us that it's going to move in the direction of how they open it, number one. And if they open it positive, they're breaking out through this level, which means it's probably going to have a good, strong day. Does it make any difference to the TBF rule, doji, and gap up if the markets are also gapping up so much like they did today? Yeah, it adds to it. I mean, you want to put everything possible in your favor. If you can see the market was trading positive and the stocks that you were looking at that were doing a doji and gapping up, that tells you want to be buying immediately. And this is what you want to kind of get your mindset in, not only recognizing when there's a possibility of a reversal or recognizing a reversal, but also anticipating what should happen after a candlestick signal that may cause a reversal, which again would be a doji followed by a gap up because the market is opening up. Let's see. MYGN went below the T-line. How long would you have let it go below before you considered selling it? At the end of the day? If it was down here at the end of the day, I'd close out the position. You have to let them go to the end of the day, especially on a day like today. You have a market that's up 140 points, and it's trading low. Why would you want to be in a hurry to get out? Let's just let it see if that was profit taking and coming back up. Now, on the other hand, if this was down here at the end of the day and the market was down 140 points, now you've got a completely different assessment. You've got a bearish candle with stochastics just absolutely flat. That's a whole different story. But you want to see what the investor sentiment is. The investor sentiment with the market up 140 points has to be relatively positive, and this opened higher. We definitely want to see that it's not going to be bought anymore by the end of the day. I think we had that same scenario where somebody got stopped out on AD and C. This is where it's very important to say, I want to close this out if it closes below the T line. Otherwise, I want to hold on to it until the end of the day. How do you determine a target for MYGN? Same as what we would do. MYGN. If this is wave one and this is starting wave two, this was a 25.5 to 30.5, 5 points. Look for it to move up into about the 35.5 range. Same scenario, yes, there is the same thing with a doji gap up for IBM through the T line. So this, if you see a lot of charts, which we're going to see a lot of charts like this, what's that tell you? It tells you pretty much across the board, investor confidence had turned around, which is exactly what the Dow chart had shown us. We also had recommended SLCA because look what it was setting up. Setting up a J-hook pattern with, if this was a true signal, this is a long-legged hammer. The more exaggerated the signal is, the higher the probability something has changed or ready to change in investor sentiment. How far down below the T-line would you let a stock go before you think it's not worth waiting till the end of the day to sell it? What if it falls out of bed? If it's falling and you can tell that that's going to be more subjective. If means something that's cratering, moving fast, and probably if that's the case, there's going to be some sort of news out on it. But even if there isn't news out on it, if it was, what were we looking at? MYGN. Yeah, if it, I mean, it wasn't like it was falling out of bed today. It was just kind of creeping down before it turned. But if it started going bam, bam, bam and started just crashing, then I'd be more apt to close out the position. But again, that's going to be kind of subjective because you can't ever tell when any news comes out. And it could have been the worst case scenario where you put your stop at the T line. But if it came down through that area, you stopped out. But if it came back up, you bought it back in again. That's where I got feeling. Yeah, I have a little bit of no, or yeah. And so sometimes I've got stops at the T line, knowing that they should be going this way. If they ever came back this way, we shouldn't be in it. But then if I get stopped out of one, I just watch to see what's happening, to see if there was news. If it's just profit taking, I just watch to see if the 10-minute chart starts coming back up and they start bringing it back up through the T line again. Let's see. When wave one starts with a gap and you're measuring wave one to predict how far wave two will go, where do you start measurement? Do you start from the low of the candle before the gap up or at the gap? Now, just somewhere, remember, this isn't a highly sophisticated measure. It's going to be approximately, if this is wave one, and I'm going to start from here to here, then that's going to be about the same from here to there. Now, that's my approximate target. If I start seeing this move up, it can be at 33.50 or 37.50 is when it starts getting close to this movement here. I'm going to start watching to see what the individual candlestick signals are telling me. Tell me when it's time to get out. The signals will be more of an indicator. Let's see. How about SLCA about 5 days ago? What's the question on it? I don't know what the question is. This is just confirmation that what we're starting to see now could be a J-hook pattern setting up. And where does a J-hook pattern really confirm? When it breaks out through this level. So the fact that we saw it after the hammer signal start showing buying, that told us that this is probably a reversal and that we're heading up. J-hook pattern. Why do we want to be buying on positive trading here? Because if it opened positive and traded positive, it's going to break out through there, confirming the J-hook. Oh, referring to but if you were long at that point, yes, you should have been out of this. You should have been out of it probably here, seeing it gap down and going down through the T line. Another case where you could easily have bought it back as soon as it came back up above the T line, which may have been here or here. But more than likely, remember, you had a long-legged hanging man right here, and it started selling off. When it started selling off, where do you think the target was? Probably back here to the T line. So you might have been taking profits, so you shouldn't have been long over here. Somewhat the same effect. Remember, the bigger the signal is, the more compelling the reversal is going to be. So you see a big, huge signal, no matter what it is, it's probably told you there's something has changed in investor sentiment. Let's see, PSXL was again one of these. We're going to see a lot of these where you have a doji gap up through the resistance. These are all very simple. You can be buying these and use the T line as your stop. Now we had a bunch. I mean, if you get the opportunity to get into the chat room, even if it's for a few minutes each day, you're going to find a lot of good position recommendations. Here we've got kind of a wedge formation setting up. And we had a doji right here, and then they gapped it up out of this side of the wedge. This tells us there's going to be a lot of upside. The bigger this wedge is, the more compelling that now the new investor coming in is going to be a very strong price move. So I wouldn't be afraid to be buying Nokia tomorrow on positive trading. I would just use today's open as your stop. Some more good-looking charts. PDS, that best friend situation. Gap up after a doji. CEL. Let's make this a little bit bigger. This is our classic. Came up here close to testing the 200. Pull right back to the T line. There's your left-right combo, followed by a gap up, closing right on the 200. Makes this very simple. If this opens positive tomorrow, you definitely want to be a buyer. CX. Here's your doji gap up. Wave 1, wave 2, look for the start of wave 3. Now what is not uncommon is that they bring it up quickly, right up into about here, the same trajectory as this, and then they continue up in 45 degree. PDS, yes. Do you consider a belt hold a signal? Yes. Anything that I can recognize that's going to give me a probability of an expected result is going to be a signal. And the belt hold is one of your best signals. This is ISIS. Left-right combo, gap up. All right, come on. Through the T line. Where's our next expected target? Up here. That's a decent percentage move. Yeah, when you see that many dojis and gap ups in one day, that tells you there's a lot of people out there ready to buy. Here's a nice fry pan bottom with a breakout situation. That's definitely one that you want to be taking a look at for buying. Because our breakout situations, or our fry pan bottoms, create those breakout situations. This was OMX. We're still in OMX. We took half the profit right here. Now looking to buy it back if it opens positive. This told us that the selling has stopped. And this tells us we have a breakout. We're going to be buying on positive trading tomorrow with the anticipation that this one's going to keep running for a while. HST, another just kicker type signal. Hammer, gap up, right on the T line. If this opens positive, you can be buying. END, doji, closed right on the T line. Makes it very simple. If it opens positive, you want to be buying immediately, and then just use the T line as your stop. Yelp. Another nice one that closed above the T line. Another one that you can buy using the T line as your stop. Yeah, there's going to be a slew of these. Now, BONT pulled back, did kind of a Morningstar signal that just closed above the T line. This one can be bought with the anticipation of probably coming back up and testing this trend channel. That gives you a good 20% return. Oops. Oh, that was my misspelling. CarMax also has a good looking chart. It comes up, consolidates, comes up, consolidates. Now you have a gap up best friend. I would suspect it's going to come back up toward the top of this trend channel making a fairly hefty move. And CLB. There's that little scoop pattern. If this opens positive, you're probably going to get a slingshot effect, zipping out up here to either the 50 or the 200. Let's see, VC. I bought puts in this one on Friday with the anticipation that if this market opened lower, this one could be coming right back down to fill this gap. However, it opened positive, but didn't go anywhere today, which means it's still in this downward trend channel. Stochastics trading down. So if it opens lower, I'll hang on to the puts, even though there's a good percentage lost in them. But more than likely, if they can't get out of this trend channel, they're going to keep taking it down. On the other hand, if they open up positive, I'll close out the position immediately. And we've got DGIT. Nice little Morningstar type signal with the doji gap up. We know at least the next target's up at the 200 and the 50, with possibility of going higher than that. CRUS. There's your Morningstar signal. Now, what do we like about a Morningstar signal? Number one, it's a good, strong reversal signal. Number two, in this case, it's got the doji gap up over on this side. Number three, the higher it closes above the halfway point of this candle, the more powerful it's going to tell us our uptrend is. And number four, if it closes above the T line, makes for a perfect entry. If it opens positive, you want to be a buyer. So everything is in the right condition for this one to be bought. Is DG at the trend channel top? It looks like it, with a Morningstar signal gap up, but stochastic still heading up. That tells me I've still got more upside, which would also mean it's breaking out through the top of this trend channel. Oh, who wrote this? Oh, Bass. PAS. Little kicker type signal. Just coming up above the T line. This one I wouldn't be afraid to be buying. Anticipating the 50 being the next target. Why? Because you can kind of draw a trend line up through the bottoms here and hit the 50. So that'd be where I'd see the first resistance. And all right, we got a couple doji sandwiches setting up. LEN. Morningstar signal, gap up doji through the 50 and the T line. Makes this very simple. If this opens positive, you want to be buying immediately. Where's the next target on this? Aiming up here to the top of the trend channel. AFI was another one that has a nice doji sandwich setup. Bullish candle, doji right here on the moving averages. If it opens positive, it's through the moving averages. Expect another day of that same magnitude. Let's see, some other ones that look good right now. KIOR, doji, Morningstar type signal up through the T line, J hook pattern. I would suspect your next target is up here at the 200. Wave 1, wave 3 will be about the same. VMed. Nice little left-right combination and a bullish confirmation. Wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one. Let's see. Oh, VVT. Yes, there's a nice doji sandwich, which, if it came up, it's got kind of that mini scoop pattern to it. Let's see. Let me take a 30-second commercial here. I need to ask everybody's help again, and I'm willing to bribe people to do it. I have just put the new Blockbuster out on Kindle and Nook. We're trying to get it onto iPad, but I want to get it out there right after Thanksgiving is when I'm starting the promotion. But I don't know how to do the free days. So here's what I'm trying to do. Well, Shazam, what am I trying to do? There it is. I've just put out a book that is something that should be read to everybody's kids called The History of the North Pole. And we were too late to do a major introduction, or I was too late this year to do a major introduction. So what I'm going to do is, right now it sells for $9.99 on Nook and Kindle. And I know there's a way to do it for a free trade or a free day, but I haven't figured out how to do it and don't know whether I can get it set up fast enough. So if people will buy this on Kindle and Nook, and I hope will be on iPad here also pretty soon, for $9.99, if you will just email Abraham that you bought a Kindle book and send your address, he will send you our new fresh printed mouse pads for free. No shipping charge or anything. Then if you go one step further, how do I go one step further? If you are so inclined to write a nice, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. A nice, what do they go? A review for it. Send an email to Abraham saying that you wrote a review for the History of the North Pole, and he will send you a free download of the Trading Rules to Successful Profits using Candlesticks. Our list price $49.95. That will be for free. So that's kind of my bribe. We're trying to get it on iPad. I don't know how to get it on iPad. I've probably spent as much time trying to figure out how to get it on these ebooks. It's just an ebook right now. As of the 30th, I will have it in hard copy. And obviously everybody, a member in here, will get a great discount as far as hard copy. So right now it's just on Kindle and Nook. Maybe by the end of the night, if I can figure out how to get it on iPad, or if anybody knows how to put a book on iPad, please email me, and I need help. Yes, and Betsy, I want to thank from the bottom of my heart for all that she did to edit that book and make it sound a lot better than what I was able to do. So anyways, that's our commercial for tonight. So let's go back to no, they to put it on these book things, they don't want it in PDF. It has to be in an ePod or EPUB format. Anyways, I think if you don't like it, the kids will like it. So tell your kids, I'll send them a download. All right, thanks, Cheryl. All right, let's see, what else do we got here? The J-hook patterns have been working, let's see, I guess THC, that's not the J-hook that we're looking for. Yeah, it has to be published in, I sent it to these converters where they published it or converted the book into an EPUB format so it would fit iPad, Kindle, and Nook. Nice J-hook on a Morningstar signal in TCH, and if it opens positive, where is it going to be? Out into new territory. That should have a good run-up for a while. And AMCC, another strong move to the upside, pull back, left-right combo. This one should have a very strong price move opening positive. Let's see, I skipped a couple here. ZQK, another very nice J-hook, left-right combo. If you buy this, if this opens positive, you want to buy immediately because what's it telling you? If they're opening this positive, everybody can see there's a potential resistance level right here, and they're buying. That means they don't think it's going to quit right here. Once they break through, that's usually where everybody starts jumping in. So you want to buy on as quick as possible on a positive open. And CDE was one that we made good profits with. And then it turned, but notice it did a doji right on the 200 with a gap up. You want to be buying this one probably as soon as you see it break through the 200. Or, I'm sorry, above the T-line. Let's see, we did the fry pans. Why do I have KIOR on here as a fry pan? That I don't know. Okay, a bunch of them are our best friends. Reliance Steel, right off the 50-day moving average. Again, this is where you add up as many things as possible to make this a confirming trade. You got a bullish doji harami, which is usually the doji in a harami combination is usually fairly strong. Right on the 50-day moving average, stochastics curling up, and a gap up through the T-line, and it breaking this downward trend channel. I suspect you got a good run up. An explanation for a doji sandwich. I'll see if I can find one here. If not, I'll come back to the doji. Let's see. A doji sandwich is when you have a strong bullish day. The next day is a doji. That's usually the bulls and the bears after a strong day still fighting a little bit after the last downtrend. Now, we know the simple rule of a doji, that the price is going to usually move in the direction of how they open it after a doji. So if they open it positive, you want to be buying immediately because the doji sandwich usually is a strong bullish day, a doji, and if it opens positive, that means this day is usually going to have the same magnitude as this day right here. So if you're setting up a swing trade, it's a good entry in with a high probability you're going to be positive right away. Or if you're just day trading, it's a high probability setup that if you buy here, you're going to be out sometime during the day with a good profit. Yes, it's also a Morningstar confirmation. That's told you that this was now in an uptrend. So more probabilities are in an uptrend. And again, a doji sandwich setup. What was the other doji here? AFI. AFI had a little doji right here at the moving averages after a strong day, double bottom. If it opens positive, it's going to move positive, that type of magnitude. If it moves that type of magnitude, probably will break out through this level. Okay, more best friends. These all are very good charts because they've changed the downward trajectory with a doji gap up. That's S-Fly, or that's Fly, S-F-Y. ABFS. That's a Morningstar with, again, the Morningstar signal starting with a doji gap up, closing more than halfway up. This one's very simple. If it opens positive, you want to be a buyer. We did PDS. Doji, gap up. Want to be a buyer. Leapfrog. Doji, gap up. AVEO. Doji, close right here about the T-line. If it opens positive, you want to be buying immediately. And then it should stay above the T-line. If it closes back below the T-line, you close it right back out again. TC or TECL, the bigger the gap up, the more compelling. They want to get into this one with a vengeance. That's where you want to be buying. Now, I say that, I probably should be more explicit on you want to be buying. Remember, we're trying to get into positions as early as possible. Most people have a hard time getting into a position. First of all, if you saw a lot of these dojis or you've been following something that did a doji and it opened positive, you need to have enough confidence in the signals, especially in the stochastics right condition, to be buying immediately. A lot of people say, oh, what if it opens up and immediately sells off? Yes, that's going to happen. But for every time it probably sells off, if you're getting into the beginning, you've probably got 4, 5, 6 times the probabilities that it's going to move in the direction that you're anticipating, especially on a day like today where you saw the market open positive and never look back from there. Doji gap up on ERF. Makes this very simple. If it opens positive, you want to be buying because you want to see it get through the T-line very quickly. WTI. Another doji gap up. These are your best friend. If you go back and look through charts that have big uptrends, you'll be surprised at how many times you'll see a doji followed by a gap up starting that trend. And body. This one's the bigger the signal is, the more compelling your uptrend is going to be. Left-right combo. You could draw a line. We can draw a line. I can draw a line. Down through there. So it's broken that downtrending channel. Closed above the 20. Closed right at the 50. Makes this very simple. If it opens positive, you can be buying immediately. And I can see I've been talking way over time again. One that's still a good strong short is MNIN, because it's got the dumpling top, and it's going to probably head down at least down to the 50. All right, so that's about all I got tonight. What we have to watch out for tomorrow is that we're not seeing a big sell-off that brings this right back down again. Well, at least see it kind of flubber around up in here, telling us that we're staying above the T-line. So with that, is there any questions? No, not individual stocks. Questions. We'll do the individual stocks when I tell Jim to do the double line. And should you buy then if they gap up after a doji or wait for the confirmation? No, that is the confirmation. If you see a doji in the oversold area and the next day it opens positive, you want to be buying immediately. Can we look into crude? Certainly. There's that doji gap up. That's when you wanted to be buying. Anytime you see a doji followed by a gap up, you can be buying. Now, is this still a buy? Certainly, because now we have a doji with a gap up, positive trading. There's going to be more upside. Is there a clue from the futures tonight whilst we're speaking? Not that I know of, and it doesn't matter. Because whatever the futures are doing right now doesn't mean a hill of beans. The only time the futures mean something is about 7 minutes or less before the market opens tomorrow morning. That's when all the big guns are putting in all their buys and sells. We won't have any chat sessions this week. Now, with Thursday, I think the market is open a half a day on Friday. I'm just trying to think. I usually am around on Friday. Maybe not very much. It's just that in the past, because there isn't too many people around, if you hit a stock that's really moving, it will move big because there's that once it gets moving one way. Okay, closes around 1 o'clock. All right. Should be some profit taking, yes, but I would suspect that the profit taking might be very light in the sense they might come down, test the T line, and then start back up again. You said Tuesday. You said Tuesday. Tomorrow will be Thursday's chat. That was goofed up. That was from old notes that I had or Pat had sent to Abraham. So there won't be anything, but I'll be in the chat rooms right up until Wednesday afternoon. Is the Mike Swanson seminar? I don't think so. Let me take a look here in my fancy calendar book. Well, how the heck did he lose a calendar? I don't see anything. I'm supposed to be giving a session, the basic session, to a Forex trading group tomorrow, but that's about it. Oh, we have, who did you ask about? Mike Swanson? No, we've got a couple people next week. Also, we have a very light guest schedule. I don't even think it's a light guest schedule. I think it's a non-guest schedule for December. So we're going to be doing lots of training with just members during December. And one of them coming up in the next few days, Pat just got back from Las Vegas, and we're going to set up, is the one that if you're having emotional problems, I don't want to make that sound. If you're having flaws that you can't figure out why you're not making money, we're going to go through the problem session here within the next week. That's right. We'll have the mental health clinic coming up. Okay. Yeah, nothing going on that I know of this week. I think we've kind of. LM, I can't do that for you. If you're a member, you will see the picks. I haven't made my decision on the picks yet. Now, the ones I do have stars next to is NOK, CEL, and EV. But those are the ones I just have stars next to. There's still dozens of other good, strong picks out there. Oh, the traditional turkey. I tried to get Mike Thompson. He's saying he can't do anything for us until after the first of the year. So I'll keep on him to see what he can do. If you can fix the motion, that's probably true too. No, I think for the Steelers they need medicine meals to get their players back. All right, Jim, let's go ahead and do the double line. And in 10 seconds, do another double line. All right. COV, there's a doji sandwich setup. If this opens positive, you can expect this going right to the 50. PPP, also a nice left-right combination with a gap up. More than likely, that's going to come right back up into this level right here, which would give you kind of a scoop pattern, and then expect more upside from there. Blue, good left right, or not good left right, best friend. Volume I don't have on here. If the volume's good, you want to be buying this on positive trading tomorrow. And TSO, another one. That's kind of your fry pan bottom with the dimple. Now you're coming out the other side. That's a very good chart. That might have a little star next to it. That's a fry pan bottom starting with a best friend gap up. I can't even fix my own emotional problems. I had one client that said he can't watch football anymore because he was so paranoid that every time they showed a huddle on the TV screen, he thought they were talking about him, and he couldn't stand it. That's the STLD Steel. Gap up. If this opens positive, you can be buying this one. When you start seeing the gap ups on the dojis, that tells you they're in there buying with great force. PCAR. Another one, gap up. If this opens positive tomorrow, you can be buying immediately. KMP. Whoops. S.KMP. Another doji sandwich setup. Probably taking you right up to the moving averages. First Solar. This one is still caught in the sideways range. It's probably now heading up to the top of the range. Just got to make sure it's worthwhile to trade that amount or for that amount. Same with Bank of America, but it's got a nice doji gap up. There were some other banks that I can't remember which ones it were. Some other banks that had some good. So you can be buying this. Just watch to see what it does once it gets to the top of the trend channel. BRKR. That's let's see, that doji sandwich was just a gap up. I would suspect if this opens positive, you still want to be buying tomorrow. And we did ZQK. That one was a good chart. S.CLF. That one's kind of a dead one, in the sense that it opened positive and came back down through the T-line. That tells you exactly what you want to know. There isn't a lot of force in there. So if you bought this today on the gap up, you should have closed it out with it closing back below the T-line. Number one, because it closed back below the T-line, and number two, because it showed you there wasn't any buyers in this trade. You don't want to be in a trade where there's no buyers, obviously. Facebook, I think it's fizzled right here at the same level that it topped out before. If this opens lower, I'd be out of it, waiting to see what it does at the T-line. WWD, this one you can be buying. That's not a real clean chart, but the fact that they gapped it up above the 50, pulled right back, essentially the T-line, and took it back up again, tells you exactly what you want to know, that the buyers are back in there. You want to be in there with them. RP, another one. If it opens positive on this doji, you want to be buying. Look for the 200. Apple did a nice bullish day. This is your best friend. This is when you can start playing with the calls. And Groupon. Whoops. Groupon right on the T line with a doji makes it very simple. They're going to move it in the direction of how they open it. If they open it positive, you probably want to be going after it. Visa, Morningstar, uptrend. Just be careful that your uptrend is probably going to run into resistance right here. So you got to decide whether that's worth the trip. LSCC, relatively flat and didn't have a real reversal day today. I'd be trading something else. Even though it might be an uptrend, there's probably much better charts out there to play with. Rate is much better with a doji gap up. I would suspect we're heading for the 200 or for the 50. Ford, stay in this as long as it stays above the 50. It can be bought on positive trading tomorrow. And Jive target. I don't know what the target might be, but you can see we're coming out of this rounding bottom. If they break through the 50, I would suspect your next target is the 200. Might not get there all at one time, but that would probably be the next target eventually. And Leap. Notice that came up to the 50, came right back to the T line. You know, they're at least going to bring it up to the 200. You'll have to see what it does after that. CSX, whoops, CSX. Another one that is probably in an uptrend, but doesn't have a reversal signal. So if I have my druthers, one of the big words I know, I'd rather be buying something that has a reversal signal than just an up day. So usually what happens in an up day like this is they will take it up, but because it's not a complete reversal signal, then they pull it back, do that stutter step, and then the next buy signal you can buy. Nally, staying above the T line. This one I'd stay with. Let's take a look at the other. Wine Gardens. This one can be bought on a positive open. Doji sandwich setup. And AGNC. Same as Nally. I think you just got some profit taking in an uptrend. MITK. Another scoop type pattern. That's a very nice one. This one I wouldn't be afraid of buying immediately on a positive open because of the doji sandwich, number one, and number two, flat handle, scoop. This could have a slingshot effect coming out the other side. IMOS. Another little rounding bottom with a doji gap up. Another one I wouldn't be afraid to be buying on positive trading using the T line as your stop. And BBBY. Oh, nothing there real exciting. Number one, it needs a good positive move just to get to a 10% move, and you're still in the trend channel. So you do have a little flutter kicker setup. So if it opens positive, you can be buying, but I would want to see that tomorrow's trading strong enough to take you out of this trend channel. HGT. That one looks like it's broken out of a little trend, a little resistance level. This one you can buy 230,000. That's all right. Kind of a little bit on the light side, but it's all right. Cena. There's a flutter kicker setup. This one you can buy on a positive open, anticipating that flutter kicker signal. TEVA. Yes, this is still a possible short, but it's still also a possible flutter kicker. If it opens positive, it should come right up to the T line, which would be the same magnitude as that candle right there. And meat. Yeah, I wouldn't be so anxious to short these. This one closed right on the T line. If this opens positive, it's going to trade positive. Plus, this is only a $3 stock. I don't think you can short it. BC, if this opens positive, you want to be going long. I'm just anticipating that if it opens lower, then you're caught in this sideways downward trend channel. FLT, slow, steady uptrend. Stay with it as long as you stay above the T line. And Nuance, nice. This one should be bought. There's your best friend situation. Look for it to move up into the moving averages. Google, that's telling you that with Google, one of the big boys moving in that strong a direction, that's what's going to keep this market moving positive probably for a little bit. Enoch, that's short. That should have been covered today on a positive open. However, it's still not above the T line, so if it comes back down through today's open, you can re-short it. OVTI. Another bullish Harami telling us the selling is stopped with a gap up telling us the buying has started. This one you can be buying also using the T line as your stop. What did I just do? OVTI, AMGN. Dojis. If it opens positive, you can see that it's breaking this downward trend channel. You want to be a buyer. And Cisco. All right, here's that perfect example. You have the big gap up and it sells off. The next day they do a bullish Harami that tells us the selling has stopped. Now you're in the trend that told us exactly what was going to happen after the big gap up, that after the profit was taken over, or the profit taking was over, then you'd have the uptrend starting. What was that? That was Cisco. All right, Flow. That one's a good strong chart. Flowers Industries. There's your cup and handle. Notice how things started picking up more right before the breakout. Profit taking today. I probably wouldn't want to see it come back down, trade back below this level. I want to see it open positive and trade positive from here. MCP. So. That's starting back up, but I would be, if I was buying it on positive trading tomorrow, I'd just be very diligent as far as watching what it does once it gets to the T line. McDonald's. Doji gap up, closing right on the T line. Another one that if it opens positive, you can be buying. You just have to be careful what the magnitude of your return is going to be, because it's McDonald's obviously is an institutional trader. MTW still in the sideways mode. It should go back up toward the top of the channel. So you got approximately 10% in there, but you also do have a good doji gap up off the support level, the 200. Goodyear Tire. The Goodyear Tire doesn't look any real enthusiastic. It's still caught in this downtrending channel, and there wasn't any real enthusiasm today with it closing back below the T line. I'd still be careful of this one. Okay. All right. Ultra also broke through this downtrending channel on a gap up Morningstar signal. That one you can go after. VC, if it goes down, would you exit the puts? No. If it goes down, I might not get all my money back, but I'll get a good portion back if it stays drifting down in the trend channel. what do you do with TSN? Hold it until I see a sell signal. LNKD, another one that you can be buying kind of off a mini scoop pattern. Suspect the first target to be the 50. And just use the 200 and the T-line as your stop. USO, the oil fund, gapped up just like oil did, or that is oil. You can be buying this on positive trading. Flow is more of a shooting star on your chart. Yeah, I guess that's all a function of where they showed where they opened it. In either case, it has to open positive and trade positive to stay in it. If it trades back down through this level right here, take profits. Caterpillar, let's see, no, we got lows in here. Lows, also, if it trades positive, it'll be at a 45 degree, probably at the same angle as the original trend. Caterpillar. Doji, hammer, gap up. This one you can be buying, but same scenario as these big ones. Just watch to see what your magnitude of return is. TGT, target, it needs to get out through this trend channel, which is also the 50, so it has to open positive and trade positive to go after it. In the moment, how do you know when to sell signal versus profit taking? First of all, the sell signals are based on the candlestick sell signals themselves. Then, if it's profit taking, it doesn't really matter. If you've got a sell signal and it's doing everything to confirm a sell, close it out. If it's profit taking, you're going to see it's profit taking, and you can get back in once the profit taking is over. Corning, another one that can be bought. I'd rather pay for it if it came up through the T line. EN, yeah. Let's see. DDD, Morningstar signal with a gap up on this side. You wouldn't call this a kicker. It's more of a hammer gap up. Technically, it's a kicker because this is a dark candle, but usually a kicker you want to have is a strong candle this way and a strong candle the opposite direction. Kevin, we did Enoch. Body also shows different on my chart. Again, sometimes, Sam, it depends on the feed of the different service. And it's amazing that in this day of technology, they can still be that far off. Today's open was above Friday's high. Okay, I don't have the answer. I tried to get Tina to do a session, and she's busy. I'll see if we can get her in on December when everything's light. Writing down Tina Logan. All right. Okay, I'll see if Tina can come back. All right. Guess that's about it. We'll see everybody in the chat room tomorrow.